Senator Bernie Sanders' first event when he arrived in Seattle came to a screeching halt over the weekend when this happened.
We are trying to be reasonable. We are trying to be reasonable. We are trying to be reasonable.
We are reasonable.
We are trying.
Senator Sanders was supposed to headline a rally celebrating the 80th anniversary of Social Security, but the Black Lives Matter protesters would not leave, taking over the microphone and forcing organizers to shut down his event. Sanders addressed the interruption, saying, quote, "I am disappointed that two people disrupted a rally attended by thousands at which I was invited to speak about fighting to protect Social Security and Medicare. I was especially disappointed because on criminal justice reform and the need to fight racism, there is no other candidate for president who will fight harder than me." Let's talk about it with our media panel today. Lynn Sweet is Washington bureau chief and columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times. Tammy Bruce is a radio talk show host and a Fox News contributor. Welcome to both
Hi there.
of you. We're talking about it with the media panel, Lynn, because it strikes me that the Black Lives Matter campaign has had quite a bit of coverage. It's not like these two women needed to take over the microphone and disrupt a presidential candidate's rally in order to get their point across. Am I right?
Well, John, not really.
Okay.
Because, as we know from Donald Trump, there's no end to the amount of publicity you may want to get for yourself. So they had a great platform, somebody else's crowd. They were able to borrow it and keep the Black Lives Matter national conversation going, though I'm not sure how productive it was since they went and hijacked the rally of somebody who is very sympathetic to their cause.
That's the point also, Tammy. I mean, Bernie Sanders is probably the most liberal candidate in the race and probably the one who would most align with their cause.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, really, Seattle and Bernie Sanders, it tells you the obsession or the need for attention. To Lynn's point, that's part of it. At the same time, this is about national attention and the coverage that it gets beyond Seattle. But it was just two people. One of my main concerns is how did two people like that get so close to a sitting senator, a presidential candidate? It also does not bode well for Hillary Clinton. Her security, I hope he beefs up his security. Well, her security will probably be better, but this will also probably be targeted at Hillary. I think, though, what you're looking at is hoping to see a generalized radicalization or an impression through the national media that there is racial divisions. These women that did this, there was only two of them, are even coming under fire by the left. It seems as though Dr. Frankenstein does not like the monster it's created, but the left is going to have to now deal with this kind of thing where, as we found out even with Ferguson, right after that, people were complaining that they weren't being paid, that these are paid, organized operatives. I don't know about the two women in Seattle, but it's a very unique dynamic that is classic to political campaigns.
It is somewhat... Well, go ahead, Lynn.
May I just, Tammy, if I may say, there's no analogy to the security situation of a former First Lady who gets Secret Service protection. And senators do not get, as a rule, traveling protection, just so our viewers know that.
Well, but he needs to that needs to be addressed because he's
But that's
clearly
something
in
else.
public.
I just want to clear it up because you made it look like it was an even security situation, and it is not.
But just as you're not allowed to yell fire in a crowded theater, I mean, so many people complain today that candidates are unresponsive and distant and not within the reach of the average American. And when a couple of chuckleheads pull off a stunt like this, it only drives, people like Bernie Sanders farther and farther away, from mainstream America.
Well, I don't know that. He drew a big crowd after Seattle and Portland. He's in Oakland, California today. I just think don't overthink this incident. It never is right for any group to take over somebody else's platform, no matter what your politics are. But in the course of his campaign, it's doing well. It's taking in tons of money in small dollar donations. He's running on his income inequality platform, which addresses some of the needs of racial disparities. Well, so I think this is not a major even speed bump in his campaign.
To John's point about average Americans, that is not Oakland. It's not even Seattle, and this again is national coverage. It feeds into the Barack Obama campaign desire to have there be an appearance of generalized racial division when there isn't, but they feed on that. And Bernie Sanders is definitely appealing to a very specific subsection, fringe of the Democrat Party, certainly not to Americans as a whole.
Well, that has nothing really to do with the main topic of talking about why people disrupted his rally.
Well,
and
for the national
Tammy,
coverage,
you
to
kind
give
of
it a
brought,
national impression.
I think this is it. Let's not make it more complicated.
No, but it's a false framework. If the national attention gives it the impression that it's a national issue, when Bernie Sanders is a marginalized local candidate that appeals to Oakland, that is the media's issue, and that is the false front.
Except he has been getting attention on many steps. So, attention. So I would just think, we don't know how his story ends, but it's not fair to make it seem like he just gets attention in a few cities. That's not right, Tammy.
And the protesters got their attention as well in a most unorthodox way. Lynn Sweet, Tammy Bruce, thank you both.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.